What is up, everybody? The 49ers are well on their way to winning this game. Under 2 minutes left. They are up 10. And we got to talk about it. Big win right before they play the Rams, which next week, David, this one is going to be massive. I cannot wait for that one. Let's hit this intro and we'll talk about this win over the Giants. All right, welcome back to Last Second Sports, where we are giving you our take down to the last second, and it's post-game rant time. David, my brother, what's going on, man?
Hey, man, it's daylight savings day, or is it daylight standard? I don't know what they call it. So we got that extra hour of sleep. That was nice. The November gales have come to the North Shore of Lake Superior, 50-mile-per-hour wind gust blowing out my window. So I got my flannel on here. And, yeah, I'm ready to talk shop, man. Niners really, I think on both sides of the ball, did well. Big win on the road. Bigger win than people want to maybe give them credit for around the league. So it's going to be fun to break this one down.
Steve-O came in with a late breaking news that Purdy didn't dress. Appreciate you. Don't know what I'd do without you, Steve-O. I think there was a lot of confusion going into this week. It was reported earlier in the week that Purdy might be the backup quarterback, not even the emergency quarterback. And then it was he might be the emergency quarterback, and then he didn't dress at all. I think expectation is that he will play next week. And we'll see how it goes, and we'll talk about it all. But man, the 49ers get it done versus the Giants. Started out a little rocky, David. Right away, the Giants go down, bullied the 49ers. The 49ers still are sporadic at best when it comes to stopping the run. It's just something all season long. They haven't been efficient necessarily as far as yards per carry. The Giants kind of abandoned the run a little bit outside of Jackson Dart, but the 49ers came right back on offense, tied up the score, and then basically from that point on, they really started to control the game. Defense got off the field pretty quickly. The offense scored again, and then that was basically it. So I'm going to ask you, do you think this was top to bottom, special teams included, the most efficient the 49ers have looked, or most complete that the 49ers have looked all season long in all three phases?
Yeah, and aside from that first drive, I mean, tweeted out, it's like, oh, the Niners defense is getting gashed. It was reminiscent of what we were seeing last week in Houston. Kind of, is this what it's going to be like the rest of the game? And they really put that to bed pretty well. And it's funny, I was debating, a friend online about talking about how they wanted to see them run the ball more. Well, at that point, they had completed 15 of 16 passes, averaging over 6 yards a play on offense, averaging 9 yards a pass, and had 17 points on the board in the first half. I mean, we've been scored 19 to 20 points a game. And so then at the end of the game, that game script, they were able to run the ball methodically and do exactly what Kyle likes to do, which is to run the ball when he can, but have a balanced attack. And I think that that just speaks to, I mean, I have to say, with what this defense was able to do, licking their wounds after that first drive, I was really impressed. I think a lot of the pressures they ended up getting on him was, Marcus Bowe out of Purdue, in for El Menor. But still, I mean, again, without Yetur Gross-Matos, without Nick Bosa, without Bryce Huff, still finding a way to get pressure on Dart, still finding a way to make them go underneath. And I just felt like play in, play out, this defense actually really impressed me today.
Yeah, I would say overall it was pretty impressive. Stopping the run is, again, that's really kind of the issue. But Okawanu, another big game. It sounds like Huff's going to be back next week. So I think the combination of Sam Okawanu and Huff is a pretty decent tandem. Obviously they made the trade as well. We can talk about that throughout the show. But, overall, I just think I brought up most complete game because really the special teams performed as well. I mean, Sky Moore did pretty good in the punt return game. He's always got like this one iffy return or non-return. It's like, man, what are you doing? But for the most part, good game. Brian Robinson did good as well as far as kickoff return goes.
Yes.
And then, defense, offense, it was a very efficient, precise game overall. What did Mac Jones start, like 14 of 14 or something like that?
Yeah. I mean, it was just, and like you said, Brian Robinson, not only in the run game, I mean, the run, what he's averaging 12 yards a carry. He's in the kick return game, he's looking dynamic and fresh. And I think
Yeah.
this is going to be something that is going to end up being beneficial for the Niners going forward. Is that Brian Robinson, because CMC is getting spammed, he's got healthy, fresh legs right now going to the second half of the season. They're going to need that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the 49ers can't get away without some sort of injury. We'll see what's up with Mykel Williams right there at the very end. Just hit his knee on the turf. Hopefully he's going to be okay. But, overall, they got out of it relatively healthy, I guess. Well, I don't even want to jinx it because I feel like every Monday/Wednesday we hear about some new injury that we had no idea about. So I'll hold that. It appears, though, that Mykel Williams is the only one that actually got hurt. We'll see if he's able to play next week. We'll see how serious it is. It looks like, probably some sort of contusion. Maybe it'll be a pain tolerance thing. We'll see how that plays out. All right, let's talk about this defense overall. So you said you were pretty impressed with the defense. Again, run defense, yards per carry, not the best. Jackson Dart definitely got a little bit loose. They didn't seem to account for him overall. But, after that first drive where it looked pretty sketch, overall, the 49ers defense did well. In fact, the most impressive thing was after that, they basically I think they did hold them to 0 points for the rest of the first half.
Yep.
The only chance they had to score was they got great field position because of the sack strip fumble on Mac Jones. And they ended up coming away with 0 points on that. Extremely impressive. Also probably fortunate that, Theo Johnson had a big drop, but that's beside the point. Defense did a really, really good job. They showed up much better today than they did last week, certainly.
Oh, 100%. And like I said, after that first drive, and again, the box score will say the yards per carry weren't great for the 49ers run defense, but they also were able to put the Giants in a position where they were deciding not to run the ball. And then that first drive is where you really were getting those gashes, and that yards per carry came down, right? As the game went on. I was really impressed with Renardo Green today. I, knock on wood, was more impressed with a little bit with Tig Brown in certain situations. After that first drive where Deommodore Lenoir completely whipped on Theo Johnson on the tackle, I thought we were in for a long day. And I thought they really, just buckled in and locked in. And I think that's, people want to say that, hey, it's only the Giants, they don't have the weapons. Well, guess what? Last week, the Giants were in a couple weeks ago, an all-time classic game against the Denver Broncos. And the Denver Broncos defense is pretty darn good. Not near as good as maybe a lot of fans around the league might think, just because of what they thought going into the season. But Jackson Dart, the Giants, went on the road into hostile territory, into Mile High, and made a game of it all the way through. Should have had it. And so for the Niners to come into their house, also being banged up, also with their backup quarterback, right? I felt like the Niners afforded themselves well. And after that first drive, I don't have quibbles. I really don't. There's going to be some things that we can kind of talk about that would be, I guess, a quibble, but I don't have a major complaint. And I think that Robert Saleh, also we talk about with defensive adjustments, I felt like he confused Jackson Dart a lot with feigned pass rush. He rarely sent blitzes home, but faked it as he would, then dropped back, gave him some disguised looks that I thought was really pretty impressive.
Yeah, I felt like his game plan overall, I mean, it still wasn't like super exotic or anything crazy, but it was more detailed than it was last week in the first half against the Texans. It was, I don't understand it because Fred Warner goes out against the Bucs. We were there for that. The very next week, talk about an exotic defense. I mean, against the Falcons and Penix, he did everything he could to throw everything he had at Penix, and it absolutely worked. Then last week against CJ Stroud, at least for the first half, it was like the most vanilla defense you probably ever seen. And then this week against another rookie, he tries to confuse him again. I like what he did this week. Now, maybe he just looks at it and looks at CJ Stroud and says, hey, too smart of a player. I'm not really going to confuse him. All I'm going to do is end up rushing guys or bringing guys to the line of scrimmage that don't need to be there. Let's just go out there and see if we can make enough plays to win. And I'm curious to see what he does next week against the Rams. Now, Huff should be back. That'll be a big boost for sure. But, if he goes out there and is vanilla again on defense, I'm pretty worried about what Matt Stafford and company might do to this defense.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be interesting to see also with the trade deadline here right on the horizon, who is, and there were rumors, hey, the 49ers are being aggressive. Well, aggressive in what way? But I got to think that you and I both feel there's probably going to be some other guys coming into the fold, including Keon White, who I don't think was, in fact, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Keon White? Keon White wasn't playing today.
I didn't see him.
I didn't see him on the field. So he'll be integrated in as well. And if Michael is even out for that, Keon White's a very similar player. We'll talk about that. But you're right. I think that you can't get away with how you defended the Texans, with how you defend Matt Stafford.
For sure. I love defending things that I never said. It's my favorite thing in the world. So I'm going to do it again here.
Oh, man.
Barry Reed said that I said McCaffrey was washed. I never said that. I said lost a step. That does not mean washed. I said that he's still a very effective player. He's a good football player.
Yep.
But ultimately, the proof is kind of in the pudding. Once again, 3.8 yards per carry. He's averaging 3.2 yards per carry outside of the Falcons game. And his top speed this year is 3.5 miles per hour slower than his top speed in 2023. And just for context, if you take his top speed from every game in 2023, it still is higher than his top speed from any game this season. So I don't know. You tell me. Lost a step doesn't mean you're washed, but it certainly means you lost a step. And I think the burden of proof is on you, Barry, to say that I'm wrong.
But and all that's to say is winning football games is rules, right? And this idea that, again, we have become so enamored with fantasy football that that we look at the end results, the points, but then we realize these are volume stats. CMC is still a great player. I mean, receive
sure.
Look at it. I mean, today, even in the 5 catches for 67 yards. One of those was, I think a 40-yarder at the end there that sealed the deal there. A great play called by Kyle Shanahan. CMC is an incredibly valuable player. And what he's most valuable right now is how well he's able to take these hits, how well he's able to keep taking this volume. I'm surprised that he hasn't been more dinged up than he would be coming.
I'm just happy he's healthy.
Yeah, me too. Right. But this idea that perseverating on these little sound bites of lost a step, which is objectively true, compared to the standard that he set as Hall of Fame caliber dynamic MVP. Just again, whatever. I guess that's something that's keeping you up at night, but definitely not us.
Yeah, I mean, 90% of prime CMC is still a top 10 back in this league.
Yeah,
I mean, he's just a phenomenal player. So yes, of course, he's awesome. Pass game, he's unstoppable. He's just not as explosive as he was. He's not the same runner that he was, and that's okay. And I think, we can talk about the offense here now, but when I look at this offense and worst rush defense in the NFL, one running back averages 3.8 yards a carry. The other one averages over 12 yards per carry. Brian Robinson probably deserves a few more touches, but it's tough though too, because, last game, I think it was the flow of last game. We look at it and it was well, Brian Robinson didn't get any touches. Well, they didn't really run the ball at all. So it's not as if CMC was just getting ran into the ground and Brian Robinson should have touched the ball. I just think that overall that CMC is a beast in the pass game. If he gets things blocked for him perfectly in the run game, he's still going to break a few, but I don't think he's so special in the run game that he should just be hoarding all the carries. I don't think it's that big of a discrepancy between him and Brian Robinson at this stage of his career when it comes to the run game specifically. So if you can save him some of those car crashes to keep him healthy, I say do it.
No, and I agree. And I think it's at that point where what we've seen from Brian Robinson, to be fair, small sample size, he's not getting as much volume as CMC. So we don't know how Brian Robinson would do in situations if he's getting that same 28 carries like CMC did today. Okay. But sorry, my son's coming out of the house. Thank you, son. But I think it's clear. It's very clear that Brian Robinson needs to get more touches. I don't think that Brian Robinson coming off the field hurts this offense as nearly as much as people might think. I do not think that it should be an even split backfield. But another guy who I saw the tweet come out from the team that says Isaac Guerrero. He's healthy. He is an incredible athlete, right? I mean, it'd be nice to see what he could do, particularly when he had opportunities last year, put the ball on the ground a couple of times. But boy, man, when he has the ball in space, he's electric. So it just, be nice to see these guys get integrated more, because I think they're going to have to against better teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Overall, though, the offense, very, very efficient day. We talked about Max starting the game 14 of 14, scored touchdowns on, what was it, the first 3 to 4 drives, something like that. I mean, it looked really, really good overall. Can we just like stop with, speaking of running the ball and who shouldn't be touching it in the run game, Kyle Juszczyk, anytime that guy touches the ball in the run game, something bad happens. He either loses yards, there's a penalty. Like, I just give him his 1 catch a game, and then I'm good with that. But other than that, like, Juice should not be touching the ball. He's just not a dynamic, good football player anymore, in my opinion. I'm so over the Juszczyk thing.
I am too. And to talk about Mac Jones, I'm racking my brain. It's like Mac just quietly put together one of the best games of his career. It's as far as like, I'm a very solid game. We're talking about 10 yards a pass on only 24 attempts. There were the Juwan Jennings PI that didn't get called, that I also thought Jennings could have given on a really nice back shoulder throw in the end zone. I mean, he could have had 3 touchdown passes near the end there.
I will say, at least on the other side, they did the same thing where the 49ers got very handsy in the end zone. They didn't call it that way either. So at least they were fair.
True.
I'll give them that.
And there was a play at the end of the game where it looked like Kittle kind of got flushed out, and the Giants did a great job of identifying that. That looked like they wanted to get that touchdown pass to Kittle there. But Mac Jones isn't trying to force anything. He's still, even the turnover, we have people on the TL like blaming Mac Jones for a blindside hit where Colton McKivitz literally doesn't touch Brian Burns. He's throwing the ball. They actually rule it a fumble, okay, as he's passing it. And the ball didn't hit the ground if it was a pass. Aside from that, if that's the only foible he made, he got rid of the ball when he needed to, stepped up in the pocket when he needed to, and evaded the sack. He only got sacked again twice, right? We got with Brian Burns and company there. I don't know what more Mac Jones needs to do to assuage the fears of 49ers fans and say, hey, like he's doing exactly what quarterbacks in Kyle Shanahan's tenure of the 49ers have always been the optimum, always wanted. Run the offense, score points. We scored 34 points today, average over 6 yards a play. Third down efficiency, I didn't check that, but it looked like we were at 6 of 11 on third down. Not horrible. 1 of 1 on the 4th and short. So I call that 7 of 12. I don't know.
The offense looked good. We spread it around. We had 5 catches for CMC, 4 for Jennings, 2 for Bourne, 4 for Kittle, 1 for Moore, 1 for Watkins, 1 for Juice, 1 for Farrell, Robinson. I don't know what Robinson does for this team. Receiver Robinson, not running back Robinson. But he's been a complete disappointment.
One of the key stats that I think a lot of people, if you do want to go to a box score and then try to extrapolate more from it, that is key here. 49ers had 25 first downs today. Okay, 2 of them were by penalty. 13 of them were were first downs gained through the air. 10 of them were by the ground. So it wasn't like, and those 10 on the ground were those short situations, right? So there are situations where the 49ers were asking Mac Jones the majority of the time and converting those first downs to do it through the air, right? And he's doing it regularly. And again, we had people last week in Houston, because they perseverate again, obsess on a turnover, to not see the forest for the trees, right? Like you're like looking at this idea that Mac Jones has played well. The only game I think that you could really say is the Atlanta game, but even then it's kind of like the game script was weird. The situation was strange. By and large, he's not only afforded himself okay, he's played really well. He's playing at a high level. And I'm serious, I will say a high level. I'm not saying elite level, Hall of Fame level. He's playing at a high level. And I think to me, if Brock Purdy is not fully healthy, do you risk going into an in-division, in-conference game where he's sailing balls like he was against Jacksonville? Or do you go with the guy who looked, hey, did you, Jess, when you look at Mac play today, even on that run, he didn't look like he was limping around as much as he has in the past several weeks. He looked better. He looked more fluid. Maybe I'm crazy.
Well, he's actually ran the ball decently. I mean, for a guy that's not supposed to be mobile, he'll have a few carries a game for like 15 yards a game, nothing special, but I mean, it's pretty much every single game. And as he's getting maybe potentially healthier, he did seem to be laboring a little bit less. I do want to call out the bloody nose shot where he got hit by Kayvon Thibodeau. It was like, that was so apropos just watching him back there with the bloody nose. It's just like, this is exactly what Mac Jones is this whole season. Just out there gritting it out. He's got the PCL sprain. Then he's got the oblique injury. Then he's got the knee bruise. Now he's got the bloody nose. It's just like constant, man. And this guy's just out there for 4 million, just gritting it out every single week, out there playing his heart out. So again, I like the Mac Jones experience. It's been a lot of fun. I think you and I both agree, though, that, if Purdy's fully healthy, he should absolutely be the starter. It's his team. And we'll see how it goes. But, we'll talk about it here in a bit. But playing against the Rams, if that's his first game back, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But ultimately, man, I'm really, really, really happy with the way that this team performed again today. They are 5-2 with Mac Jones. You do that with a backup quarterback. And again, it's tough though. Like I feel like this is one of those seasons that we're going to get all the way through the regular season and be like, I don't know. I don't know what the team is. Like, I don't know how good they actually are. They played a bunch of bad teams. They did what they were supposed to do. They had some weird stuff happen. But ultimately, like, they can't run the ball consistently. They can't necessarily stop the run consistently. Like, they don't force a lot of turnovers. They don't get a lot of sacks. It's like, all the things that you think, when you think about football and you think this is what good teams look like, the 49ers seemingly do none of them, but yet here they are with a 6-3 record. It's pretty impressive, man.
Oh, it absolutely is impressive. And here's the thing with me and Kyle Shanahan. I've long said, I've evidenced, never deleted the tweets, espoused the idea of giving him a lifetime contract once upon a time, multiple times. And then there'd be times where I'd get just on things that you learn or you hear or but whether it's demeanor, whether it's the injury stuff, whether it's a host of different things. The thing is, though, what Kyle has done is shown you how premium of a coach that he is this season. And I think if you would ask any other coach to say, hey, give Mac Jones, whatever your preconceived notions were with Mac, take the injuries to the defense, take the, I also see Kyle. What I feel is he's not getting flustered. He's not getting flabbergasted on the sidelines. He seems like he's a little bit more even keel. And I think that has a lot to do with just how much he's been able to trust Mac Jones. I don't think there's been a situation where you've had like the Nick Mullins situation where you think like these other guys come in, you're gamers, but you don't really trust them to do all the things that you want them to do. And I don't think he's had to skip a beat with this. He's mentioned, obviously, Brock's legs are obviously going to be a big time advantage. But he knows cerebrally that Mac Jones is right there, ready to go. He knows he can count on him to win games. And he's done it. What, 5-2?
5-2, yeah.
Guys, like, and again, today, it was, I think it was, he had a 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio going in. The same touchdown to interception ratio that Brock Purdy had, actually. Although the Niners were scoring 2 more points a game with Mac than Brock. Today, though, again, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And again, I think that fumble, that turnover, there are times where I say, hey, the quarterback, like Jackson Dart got sacked by Cleveland Farrell, making Farrell look like a stud because he had like 10 seconds in the pocket.
Dude, Jackson Dart just held on to that ball. He got blasted.
If he fumbled the ball there, I would have 100%, or if that would have been Mac Jones and you had somebody else getting the coverage sack on the hustle sack, that absolutely would have been on Mac Jones. That was not on Mac Jones to get McKivitz just completely olaying. He had no time to step up. He had no time to see the guy, ever feel it, right? That's not on the quarterback. Okay. So anyway, I'm happy with Mac. I will say this, 100% agree with you. If Brock Purdy is 100%, like I'm feeling great, I don't have any reservations. I'm not in my head about my injury. I want Brock in at quarterback. Not only does he deserve that, he offers you more, clearly. Because but you and I have no problem saying that because we're not saying that Mac is the answer long term either. Okay.
For sure.
But I also feel like if he's not 100% healthy, I'm content. Like I'm totally comfortable and confident with Mac Jones playing at home, coming off this win, which is only going to build more confidence for him. I don't get the rush to say, hey, let's put Brock back in this situation if he's 85%. To me, maybe that's your franchise quarterback. You should be doing that.
Hey, bad news.
What?
They think Michael Williams tore his ACL.
Oh my God. Well, and here's the thing that we've been talking about last week about Michael being like, hey, are there quibbles about him not being a true edge? But what he's been able to do is he actually sets the edge really well in the run game. He's going to be, he's frees people open. This Keon White acquisition, which is like kind of a doppelganger for Michael in a lot of ways, right? Who came in with some athleticism. Michael's got some too, but now that negates the depth. So even if you say Keon White is a Michael Williams replacement, well, Keon White was brought in to be rotational. And so now I fear the Niners are going to do something rash. I fear they're going to ante up and move in for a 30-plus-year-old rental. And we all want teams to win. Right now, they've been able to do that. They've been able to cobble together wins. They're 6-3. They've got a 667 win percentage. Right. I just don't think that Jesse, I'll be right. I'll put money on it. I think that John Lynch is going to panic. And even though I think we've been told like that, okay, we're going to be, I think with this, they're going to want to, and to be fair, they have to get people in the building. They really don't have anybody. You have Yutu Gross-Matos out, Bryce Huff out, who was brought in, Michael out, Nick Bosa out. Who do you have? Okwononu, who's not really an edge player. I mean, you have Keon White, who's again not really a true edge either. Big end. I mean, I'm drawing a blank here. Who do they have that's a true edge player right now? Like a true pass rusher.
I mean, Huff, he'll be back next week, I guess.
Maybe he's back next week.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's according to Saleh that he's supposedly back. I don't know.
I just think that we've said this. It's been a refrain, and the Niners have been able to really defy the odds. Well, not so much defy the odds. This was the easiest schedule on paper. They knew that. They thought they'd be able to figure that out and stay alive even with attrition. But I think I am surprised that they're 6-3. I thought it would be more of a 5-4 or 4, with Bosa and Warner. And to their credit, they come through and put themselves in a position to kind of lick their wounds, but still hold their heads high. I do think there comes a point, though, with the acquisitions towards how that manages your future draft capital. What is the realistic odds when you're not playing the New York Giants, the New Orleans Saints, the Atlanta Falcons, who are not a good team? What happens when you're, playing the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens and the Detroit Lions, the Philadelphia Eagles, right? That level of attrition is hard to. And we still got a bunch of games left, right? We still got 8
halfway
games
through
left.
the season, dude.
Right?
We're just past the halfway point, and this is what's tough about late bye weeks, right?
Yep.
Like your body just breaks down throughout the course of an NFL season, and when you got to go 13 straight weeks without a bye week, I mean, it is brutal.
It's ridiculous.
Brutal. Now, the flip side is that if you can get relatively healthy and you make a run into the playoffs, you got that late bye week. That feels great. But man, I just, 6-3. It's interesting because 6-3 is what I had them to this point prior to the season when I just looked at the schedule. But there's no way that if you told me, hey, these are the injuries that you're going to have, I would have thought no way would they still be 6-3 at this point. So it is absolutely kudos to them for what they've gotten. But it just, at some point, it's too much, man. It is too much. And, it's also, I feel like this is like everything is fair in love and war. You get you get these players that it seems like, I don't know how this happens. It's like certain players get attacked for not producing at a certain level, and then it seems like within a week or two those guys are done for the season. It's like, Bosa just doesn't seem to be Bosa. Boom, done for the season. All right, let's see how it is without Bosa. This week it was Michael Williams. Like, where's the box score? And this, it's like, you got Shamar Stewart. Stewart just had his 4th tackle of the season. Just for context, Jamar Chase has more tackles than his teammate Shamar Stewart. Just to throw that out there, right? So it's like, we can talk about stats and do all that, but Michael Williams has certainly had an impact along the defensive line. And if nothing else, this is a guy who's been getting a lot of snaps that is now out of the lineup. They got to figure out something yet again. So you can only take so many hits to the depth of your team. And it's adding up week after week after week. And it's just, we were just kind of joking about how they felt like they got out of there relatively healthy. Michael Williams looked like he just banged his knee. He was going to be okay. And now they think he has a torn ACL. Like, what, where, how? I don't. And that's MetLife Turf does it again, man.
Well, yeah. I still want to see an independent research that I wonder about that a little bit. Like, they've still been, the 49ers have still found themselves getting injured every other stadium. So I just, including their own. And on grass on the road, got turf toe on grass, right? I don't know. I don't know. I worry also about that injury with Michael is that this is again where Brandon Ayuk is still out. I mean, I was at the game over a year ago in October. I think it was like an October 20th game, if I recall. Yeah. He's still not back. So Michael Williams going down on November 2nd. This impacts the team's ability to be ready to roll in 2026 when the schedule is probably going to be harder. So it just, I want the Niners to be competitive. I don't want John. We talked about this in Tampa after Fred's injury, and obviously that we were down in the dumps because of that. It did seem like the sky was falling after that. I do think there's got to be some realism here, though, too, about what can you do to stem this, because you still, along the defensive line, have to have rotational depth. These guys cannot play every snap. They cannot. And it's not like it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Because the Bengals, by the way, they just came back and beat Chicago. Comeback win for Joe Flacco, right? Now, you're telling me that the Bengals, the way they scored 40-plus points again, okay? You're telling me that this team is ready to get rid of – they have their guys out because they're like, see, I guarantee you that team is not going to be as big as sellers as you think they are. I think they're going to say we can. It
came out today that they are willing to trade him, but that was before they won. I mean, things change quickly,
No, that's exactly right. And I think they were content being like, hey, they're being realistic. Like, say, we've got a losing record. We're not probably going to win the Super Bowl, but we're winning games and we're scoring points. And so it'll be interesting to see. I think the Bengals are going to stick. They're a pretty stubborn team. And I think they're going to say, look, we are going to get what we're asking. You're not going to hold us over a barrel. We'll keep these players. We're not going to jump at a late second round pick or an early third round.
Won't they get a third round comp potentially
exactly.
if Henderson just walks this offseason anyways? Like what? So you better get at least a second round pick to even consider it. You're not doing it for a third.
No, and the thing is, like, it's scarcity, man. In this economy, it's like resource scarcity. It's like, why should they? Well, I get, like, if you're not going to keep the guy going forward, but that ship sailed. You could have done that a long time ago. Got the capital back. They could have got more capital way back before the draft. But of course, they're not a great front office. I just think at this point, I think the price tag is going to be pretty steep. And if it's not, people have been talking about Jalen Phillips. People talk. How good are these players really? And how much are you really willing to give up for them? Like, I think a lot of times we get the name on the back of the jersey in their head, like, oh yeah, I remember a lot of these guys aren't nearly as good. They're not Brian Burns, right? They're not TJ Watt, right? They're not Myles Garrett, right? They're decent NFL players, but they're not, are they worth premium draft capital? I don't really think so. And I I'd rather, again, even though we had 3 healthy scratches on our defense today from our rookie class, plus Nick Martin's basically a 4th healthy scratch. So draft picks aren't always a guarantee. I get it. But high draft picks, though, like you have to at least put yourself in a position to be in the 1st and 2nd round.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Well, let's do some prize picks real quick. Or not prize picks. Why did I say prize picks? Sleeper. Gee, many Christmas. Let's do some sleeper real quick. So, all right. First of all, I don't care about basketball, but I'll tell you this right now. I'm taking the half on points, rebounds, and assists for Jalen Brunson. I think you can log a stat. All right. So we're taking the freebie there. So you get a 100% deposit match of up to $100 using promo code LSS on Sleeper. You can play weekly fantasy, daily fantasy, yearly fantasy. I'm in a dynasty league on Sleeper. I'm getting my butt whooped this year. I had Burrow. So it's a 2-quarterback league. I had Burrow. That basically shot my season right away when he went down. So I'm building towards the future. You know, I'm just not the best GM, but I'm building towards the future. We're not trading any future picks. We're taking our losses. But I also like to do the more or lesses, which is what we're going to do here. So Sunday Night Football. We got Washington versus the Seahawks.
Yep.
Oh gosh, this is a lot, dude.
I like both
JSN 93.5. You like that?
I like that's a risky play, but here's the thing.
More? Okay.
Cup is out. I do like Torrey Horton, but I think this is going to be the Commanders secondary is buns. I think this is going to be a high scoring game. I think that I like the risky. I know it's not a fun 93.5 is a lot, right? But if you look at what JSN has done this year, how many times has he gone over 100? He's gone over 100. Let's do this real quick. Well, let's do this because I can't combine it because it is a promo where it gives me 1.9x if I choose it. But you talked about Horton. 2.5 catches. I mean, Cooper Cup's out, right? We're taking the more on that one. But I'll say this about JSN though: he's gone over 96 yards in all but one game.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it.
He gets volume. He gets volume. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. That's where I don't like I like the under because I don't think they're going to be running the ball much, and he's not a pass catching back.
Okay, well, what about this? What about 25 rushing yards? Do you like the more on that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think that's safe.
Okay, we can always tease these things down. So going more on that one. We'll go. Debo.
Is McLaurin out?
Tough. I think so. Yeah. I think he's out again. He kind of re-injured himself.
I'm not putting my money on Debo, but that's a tough one. The McNichols 16.5.
What about Kenneth Walker? 52.5 rushing.
I see that backfield. That's a bet. See, these actuaries are going right now on this one.
I know. What about 40? What about 40? Oh, no, here. No, let's see.
I like the anytime touchdown for Charbonnet. I do like that.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go with that one. Okay, I think we might be okay here. 9 times that. Oh, look at that. There we go. So $10 to win, $94 essentially. You can tail us, you can fade us. Either way, use promo code LSS to get your 100% deposit match. And right now, if you are on the fence about playing Sleeper, the best time to do it, if you use promo code LSS, you don't even have to make a deposit. You can get a free $20 entry. All right, let's get to these super chats real quick, David. Also real quick on Sleeper. If you don't want to just download the app and use promo code LSS, you can also just go to the top of the description of the video. It's right there. You can click on it, and that'll get you in as well. All right, let's get to these super chats real quick. Corey says, Jesse, do you make a trade after this win? We're going to talk about this in depth, so hold your horses on this one. We will get to that, I promise. Boxing Fan ×4 says, Colton McKivitz MVP of the game. He was going up against a beast, man. Again, this is... At some point, like, you can blame Colton McKivitz for not being the best player, or you could just realize, hey, when he's going up against, I don't know, elite pass rushers, you might maybe just want to at least help him out a little bit, get some double teams, chip blocks, something. Just leaving him on an island all game long against the guy who leads the league in sacks may not be your best play. I'm just throwing that out there. Last week against the Texans may not have been your best play, but, here we go. Alex says, let's hope Williams not out for a long time. Well, this was well before we found out the breaking news that Michael Williams, they fear, has a torn ACL. Brother Bob says, concern, CMC is still overused. Mac 10 wins again. Yeah, I mean.
Oh, yeah. He is overused.
Here's the deal. He is. This one's tough for me, though, because I don't disagree with that, David. And it's going to be tough. The ultimate goal is you want him healthy come playoff time, right? Assuming you make the playoffs. The flip side of that, though, is there's a good chance he's not with the team next year. And so it's like, well, if that's the plan and there's no guaranteed money really after this year and you're going to let him walk because he's going to be 30 years old anyways, you probably should just use the hell out of him, right? So I can see both ways.
That's what Kyle's going to do. And Kyle does that better than almost any coach in the NFL. Like Kyle, we've learned that Kyle looks at players as disposable, right? Like he's going to, and look, guys, this just in, most NFL coaches do. Like they're here to win games. They're not really thinking about the long-term health or the bodies of these players. And these players are here to play football too. They want to play, right? I get it. So you're right. I think that's why he's spamming him. I think it makes sense. I also think though, despite that volume, you're not ever seeing, it's like very consistent, 3.8, 3.7, 3.2 today, 3.9 yards per carry. It's not changed. Yeah, and remember, the Giants are the worst rushing defense in the NFL. The worst. 32. Okay. So that's where the whole, again, I remember the guy lost a step comes in. So that I do understand. And I don't want to,
Wait, did the Bears end up winning this game? I thought everybody said that the Bengals won.
I thought they won.
Bears 47 to 42.
Oh my goodness. How did that happen? How did that happen? I'm looking at okay, so hold up. Bengals come down with 54 seconds and they go up 42 to 41. Caleb Williams, 58-yard touchdown pass to Colston Loveland. But now the Bengals are down by 5 points. They've got the ball off the Cincinnati 48 with 10
No, it's
seconds
over. It's
left.
final. It's final.
Over.
It's over. Yep.
So now, I take that back. So now the Bengals are, what do we got them at? 3-5, 3-6. Now they're sellers.
So now they might be. Well, we're about to talk about the trade thing. No, you're not going to be. They're not going to confirm it today. They're going to have to do testing, but they always do an initial test, like a knee stability test, and usually they're pretty accurate. So if he's feared to have a torn ACL, chances are we're going to hear tomorrow he has a torn ACL. Very rarely does it come back and you get the good news, but that's the hope. I mean, maybe they got it wrong, but they kind of know what they're doing with these things. Joseph says this win changes nothing. Don't make a trade. We'll talk about that, Joseph. And then he says, I agree, Jesse. CMC is the worst running back in the league. I hate you, Joseph. This is not what I said. K-Star says, I don't want to see CMC in garbage time ever again. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, if you can save him from car crashes, you should probably do that more often than not. Curious to see what's going on in the Bills are up 7-0 versus the Chiefs. Okay, I just wanted to see what that was there. All right, let's talk about the trade deadline. So trade deadline is Tuesday, I believe. 49ers are rumored to be pretty heavily involved in trying to make a trade. Here's my theory about this, David. I personally think they are going to make a trade, that they want to make a trade. However, the big names, the Max Crosbys, the Trey Hendricksons, like these big name guys that you keep hearing, I don't think that they're involved in those as much as is being reported. Here's the way that I see it. John Lynch came from media. John Lynch and the 49ers certainly know what 49er fans have to say. They pay close attention to what they have to say. If that is the case, I feel like John Lynch is a great PR machine. He's using his media friends to get out the word that they are going to be aggressive and they're trying to do everything. Yeah. So if they don't, It's like, well, we tried, guys. It's been out there for weeks. We've been trying, but
Yeah.
here's Mazzy Smith. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, that's what the type of deal that we're probably looking at. I could be wrong. We'll see how it goes, but that's the feeling that I get. I do think they are going to make some sort of trade. What do you think about this whole thing? Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. The 49ers are not the only team that want pieces. And there are other teams that are better insulated to give up some draft capital than the 49ers are, to get those pieces, and have teams that are healthier than the 49ers in that way. So it's like, I think that it's that idea that what does going all in even mean? And again, guys, who are the players that we're talking about? Trey Hendrickson, Jalen Phillips, Kayvon Thibodeau. But again, like, I think Kayvon Thibodeau is a fine player. Like what players are we talking about? Like, because none of those players are upgrades, because this team is a skeleton crew even more now today than it was. But this isn't like even like D Ford. D Ford was an elite pickup when he came over to be healthy. And when he was healthy, man, in 2019, man, like, he was a weapon. People forget that. It's like
that defense never looked better than when he was on the field for those, the short time.
Him and Jimmy Ward, the MVPs of that defense. I swear, I'll still say that. And that idea that guy's not available right now. Okay, there is no like there is no like turbocharged dude like on the market that's ready to go to roll. And so I think it's going to be, like you said, like that Mazzy Smith level type of player, right? Like, that makes a lot more sense. And if you're a team that is being more realistic about wanting to stay competitive, but look in your cover, look what you've done. You're 6-3. You have been able to keep your head above water without some of these marquee defensive players. With some other offensive players coming back, hopefully, why be that team that overpays for an aging vet as a rental when you don't even know if, like, I just feel like you got to be one of those teams that says, hey, we got what we got. We obviously got to get some more guys in the building, particularly if Michael is out, no doubt about it. But you don't have to sit there and sell the farm for players that I don't know are as good as fans think that they are.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. To me, the Trey Hendrickson, like, that one, I don't get that one. Let's say they were interested, and a lot of fans want them to get Trey Hendrickson. First of all, Trey's been hurt multiple times this year. He's 31 years old.
Yep.
He doesn't have a contract past this year. Nope. You're probably going to have to give up at least a second for him. Like, to me, that makes no sense for this team. No sense at all. You're not going to win a Super Bowl by adding him. I would be willing to pay like a 3rd round pick or a 4th round pick for, the Jets guys or Kayvon, because you're going to have them next year as well. Like, it's more than just a 1-year deal. They're younger players. Robert Saleh can work with them, Kosirik, what have you. Or just go make the small trades. Go get a Mazzy Smith for a pick swap. Go get, another edge rusher from, the Dolphins, I guess, for a pick swap, Chubb or something like, I don't know. Like, I don't think they do need players. Yes. Are they going to make a trade? I assume they will, but I'm also not like sold that they got to go get like a guy.
Well,
it doesn't make sense to me.
There are also teams that are better positioned to make moves who are absolutely healthier and more dynamic than the 49ers are with their roster. Like the Lions, the Eagles.
Yes.
Even if you look at the Bears, I know the Vikings were kind of talking about, there's some rumors about, they could have some people on the move.
Bernard or something like that.
Today, yeah. But what was that final score of the Vikings Lions game?
I think the Vikings won, but I could be wrong. They were up last I saw, anyways.
Vikings win 27-24 on the road. I mean, JJ McCarthy coming into that game, a lot of uncertainty.
Looked good, man.
JJ looked good, man. I mean, my 2 guys were JJ McCarthy and Drake May, and both these guys, like, I think the guy Thor Nystrom, he lives here in Minnesota, and he's been going to the well for JJ. And so now the Vikings now are like, hey, we're 4-4. We just had a big win in the Motor City, right? We're feeling good about ourselves now. We're feeling we got pep in our step. Like, there's going to be teams that are out there that like legitimately are feeling like we are that they might be willing to put some more chips on the table. And I think the Niners need to be content to let them do that and just make the smarter moves, the tinkering moves, and situate yourself better to say, hey, we're here to compete. Let's try to win this thing if we can. We'll put our best, but like, we don't need to sell the farm for mediocrity and then go forward next year, affording yourself in a much better position to withstand some other attrition that they might have.
And this is why I hate box score scouting. I had no idea what the box score said for JJ McCarthy. I just looked at it. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like not impressive at all. You watch the game though, it's like, yep, JJ played I thought JJ played phenomenal. 14 to 25, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 12 rushing yards.
A rushing touchdown.
For another touchdown. A rushing touchdown, yeah. But it's like, again, this is why I hate when people just purely bring up stats to me. It's like, well, did you watch the game? Because I would have never guessed that was his box score.
Well, you know, Jahmyr Gibbs sucks because he had 9 carries for 25 yards, you know? So it's like what are we going to do here, folks? Like, and I agree, we're not saying like, but by the way, Jahmyr Gibbs lost a step as well. Let's get that going out there too.
Yeah, absolutely. Corey says, I'm not saying F them picks, but F them picks. Saving draft picks for potential players at times isn't as safe as trading for a proven player. Fair. The Trey Hendrickson thing is proven player, 32 years old next year, not under contract. So that to me doesn't make sense. That's why I said I am, however, willing to Kayvon Thibodeau, either the Jets edge rushers, McDonald or Johnson. Like I'm fine as long as you're not giving up a super high draft pick. I'm not giving up a first, second, and preferably a third round pick to go make a trade to try to save this season.
No,
I'm just not doing it.
Look, this team has been horrific.
And I think it's going to take a third to get Kayvon, if not more, potentially.
Yeah,
so
I'll be honest, a third with the team's track record in the third round right now. Anyway, I understand, Corey, what you're saying. What I'm saying is, though, I have people that are saying literally, like, I know people, I know them. I've actually worked with them. Okay. That somebody were saying that let's just give up a first round pick. And I'm like, what? Like, and you could say, hey, there's no potential of a player, but guys, it's a rookie controlled contract. Also, like did we not learn what happens when you give up first round picks for Trey Lance? Right? Did we not learn this? That we're in this position right now. People don't want to talk about that. This attrition is harder to come back from because you lost the opportunity to fill those gaps with players that could be young and affordable. So that's just part of the game, man. And you can't say completely F them picks because you have to be like, because we're not talking about trading a pick for Matt Stafford like Les Snead, right? We're not talking about trading for a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback or a player. We're talking about an aging, fading veteran. I don't. Yeah, it's just not apples to apples.
No, it's not. And
right, exactly.
Proven player. Like, this is a good point, right? Like, that didn't turn out very well for sure.
And that was only a third rounder, I believe, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And I was cool with that, actually. I was cool with it.
I was too, but that team was also very different than this one. Like, that team was a dominant team that was bound to make a run. Like, that was a whole different deal. This team, it's like the record is good.
Right.
This is like the box score scouting thing, right? Like, if we're box score scouting the 49ers, we're like, oh, they're,
wins.
Great record, 6-3, they're winning. But it's like, well, if you watch the games, I don't, are they really that good? Are they, you know what I mean? Is this a Super Bowl contender? Like, I don't think so.
And none of us are saying the Niners are garbage. But like, again,
no, they're not garbage. No, they're good.
I hate when people say you are who your record says you are. No, you're not. Okay, that you could say that at the end of the year when you win the Super Bowl, but guess what? So as a team that's done that, this isn't like we're halfway through the season. There's still a lot of ball to be played. Seahawks are playing Washington tonight. The Rams are playing right now. And I mean, it's just they're staying in the hunt, man. Right now, the Niners are right in there for the division. But yeah, I do get the understanding you want to win, but I want to see what happens next week. And I know that's too late, right? Because it's after the trade deadline. But I guess a lot of fans would say, hey, Dave was saying we shouldn't have made a move. The Niners beat the Rams. they go to 7-3, and then they got a little bit of run where there's got some easiness in their schedule. They go, oh, we should have made a move. It's like, well, I'm thinking long-term on this. And I would ask people, do you think the Niners, as it stands, are Super Bowl contenders? And people could say, well, there's no one team out there that could. I get that. But do you really think in your heart of hearts, with the guys who will not be coming back in the door this year, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, looks like Mykel Williams, okay, do you believe that this is a Super Bowl team? It's not. And again, but
Corey clarifies his point. I got the point, Corey. I understand what you're saying. I think that you weren't necessarily saying Trey Hendrickson. I just wanted to clarify and kind of piggyback off of what you said, which is like, hey, I'm not trading for a proven player if it's a guy who's going to be 32 and isn't under contract next year. What you're saying is if we can go get a young player who is proven, you give up a second-round pick like a Kayvon Thibodeau, that's worth it to you because you feel like Kayvon is probably better than what they're going to get in the second round. Anyways, he's here at least through next year, and then you can work on a contract. I don't necessarily disagree with that. No. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think your point is a fair point. I don't know that I would do that, but I will certainly listen to an argument for doing that. Absolutely. Kayvon's a whole different thing than a Trey Hendrickson, that's for sure.
And if Fred Warner wasn't hurt, I know he's not an edge, but like it's just such a, if Fred wasn't out, if Fred was 100% healthy, this does change the calculus. Okay. Yeah. Right. Because, but like that again, it's like, we'll just, I feel like I've been impressed enough for them to kind of to soldier through what they've had to do. And other teams are going to have attrition as well as we go through the season. And so maybe the Niners put themselves in a position where they get some of these young guys, get them some reps, and they surprise them. And like, and that affords them well down the road to gain that experience for ensuing seasons. I just don't think that like it's the jackpot necessarily. It's a panacea, right? If you acquire these players, I don't.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, I agree. I think they're going to make a trade of some sort. I don't know that it'll be a massive one. We're going to know soon. I mean, we got basically like 48 hours till the trade deadline. So it's coming up really quick. We got Monday Night Football. At the end of the day, the 49ers won. They're 6-3. Again, this is just one of the more fun teams that I've watched. I don't know how they're winning some of these games. Again, today in the Falcons game, they looked very, very complete, albeit against maybe not the best competition, but the 49ers are so banged up that I don't care. Like a win is a win. You play a Giants team who may not be great. I understand that. But at the same time, the 49ers have so many injuries. How great are they? So for them to go win and put together all three phases, I just think it's awesome. Now we'll see how it goes against the Rams. The Rams certainly are going to be out for some vengeance. Sounds like the 49ers, I would assume, will have Brock Purdy back. I've been saying this for like 3 weeks, so I don't know what to. Exactly. I really genuinely don't know. I also Ricky Pearsall, is he coming back? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. But what I will say is, you should feel good. They got the win today. 6-3. They're in the hunt. They're still, even if they end up fighting for the 7th seed at the end of the year. Right now, they've got a jump start. They do get to play the Panthers, who somehow beat Green Bay today, by the way. They get to beat the Packers are weird. They get to play the Bears. Those two games are going to be super crucial, especially if they're fighting for the 7th seed, because those are the teams they're going to be fighting with. So, but it's a fun season so far, man. It's been a fun season. I look forward to seeing what it looks like against the Rams. Just way too early prediction. Let's assume best case scenario. Brock's back. Pearsall's back. We'll assume that Ayuk's not back yet, at least for another week. Who do you have winning that game? Do you have 49ers or the Rams? Just right now, a week out.
Oh boy. If Brock's back or not.
Let's assume Brock and Pearsall are back.
Ooh. Look, if Brock's healthy and Pearsall is back healthy, I like the San Francisco 49ers. I think that they're playing with some magic. I think they went in their house in SoFi and were able to come out with a victory. I feel up to the last year, the Niners have had really good luck in the regular season against Sean McVay. I think Sean McVay respects Kyle so much. I think they know each other's weaknesses as well. I think they find a way to win that game. I really do. But I think that they can win with Mac too. And so it's not going to be one of those things I put money on a spread. I
For
think it's going
sure.
to be a tight game. But I think the Niners figure out a way to win that game if they've got things healthy. If guys are banged up, if they rush Brock back and he's only 75%, I like the Rams.
Okay. Okay, so you reserve the right to see if I got it. I totally get it. I think that I thought the Rams were what I think going into the season I had us getting swept by the Rams. We already beat them.
Yep.
So I'll take that. I don't know. I just think the Rams are a really good team. So right now I would pick the Rams, but
Oh,
I don't know. I will say this. Last time I picked the Rams to win all the way up until about an hour before kickoff. I did one final show and then picked the Rams or the 49ers to win. So who knows? Right now I would say the Rams, but shit, an hour before kickoff I may change my mind like I did last time. So I don't know.
right. Yeah, I'll stick with it. I mean, every year I've been wanting my Niners to win, but I'm looking at the spread, and we have a little fun league with our school that we do, and I was betting against the Niners against the spread, not to necessarily lose outright, and just got slaughtered every single time the first 6 weeks. I finally made it. I did bet. I did pick the Texans to cover last week. That's the only time I've been right. This week I stayed out of it with the Giants game. I didn't want to touch it. So I think that they've shown that like they're feisty, man. Like there hasn't been a game they've played this year that's really, if my memory serves me correctly, that they've other than Houston, right, where it kind of got and Tampa even though, but Tampa game was still tight, right near the end. And so it's like this team kind of finds a way to hang around.
I just linger, man. They linger, and then you make a mistake, and they strike. I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Bobo says, is there a trade the Niners could make that would move the needle on the offensive side of the ball, especially with the guys coming back on that side? I don't think they need to make a trade. Interestingly enough, the 49ers, in a weird way, are making multiple massive trades on the offensive side of the ball, right? Like, because the fact that Brock, Ricky, and Ayuk, assumingly all three will be back over the next few weeks, like that's an influx of talent that no team is going to be adding on offense, right? So to me, like your trade is already made on the offense. You need to go get some defensive players, whether it's depth pieces, if you want to swing big, what have you. I feel like it all has to be done on the defensive side, unless somehow, some way, and this is unrealistic because it never happens, a big time offensive lineman's available. Then go get him.
But your backfield's healthy. CMC looks. I mean, even if we said he lost and stuff, he's still healthy. He's still
awesome.
stacking the box score, man. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's a beast. Brian Robinson, Isaac Reno hasn't been able to get a step, but he's healthy. Jordan James, a rookie running back. He's healthy. He's a rookie running back. We've seen rookie running backs come in and end up having success with the Niners that are unheralded time after time after time. All you talk about Ricky and Ayuk and everybody else, Jordan Watkins getting some snaps today, making a couple plays. Like there's people there. Like this is what was always promised. If these guys are going to come back, you definitely don't need to sell the farm offensively. And by the way, they scored. They put together the pieces here too. Kittle still looks like a little bit like he still looks a little rusty. Makes some great catches, but like he still looks like a little like again. I don't want to say lost a step. But he looks like he's still coming back. And I think if he keeps, but we'll just see. I think that they don't need to panic.
I don't think so either. Jordan says Pierce Aller can come back soon. Yeah, the rumor is that him and Purdy were targeting the Rams game, but we'll see. Also a tough game to come back on. I mean, talk about, you already beat the Rams once, but let's assume the Rams win this week. If the Rams beat you, they're up 2 games in the loss column. Like that's tough to make up in, I don't know, the final 7 games of the season, especially when you don't play each other again. So it's not a must win, but to win the division, it's pretty close. Like that could be the decider right there. So you kind of need to beat the Rams, which is unfortunate because you already did beat them once, but you kind of need to do it again so that you can close that gap on the loss column side. Yeah. So, all right, listen, David, a little over an hour. Appreciate you, man. There's some good 4 p.m. time slot games. I'm going to go check some of these out. Everybody in the chat, appreciate you. Much love. I'll be back tomorrow with Coach. And until tomorrow, stay blessed. We'll talk soon. Peace.